Can you maybe share with us just a little bit of advice? And in those first few months, immediate needs for widows to take care of financially, what do we need to do?
Yeah, and again, this is coming from the pages of the book, so say thank you to my content editors because they actually put themselves in my shoes. They're like, you went through it, right? And you might have blocked some stuff out, right? But
Yeah.
they were like, if I lost my husband today, this is what I'd be worried about. Can you tell us about it? Right. And that's
Yeah.
really how the next chapters came through. So the first one is if you're in early widowhood, right? Like, and you do have life insurance, please know that can help you very quickly. I actually put a lien against my life insurance to help pay for Greg's funeral because I said we had just purchased a house. We had no available cash. So that
Yeah.
is something you can do very quickly. So if you do have the blessing of life insurance, um, action that and call your agent as soon as you can.
Okay.
That's one, very, very quickly. Two, organize yourself. Like I am, if you can't tell, a very organized person. But because I was organized, the ability to find life insurance policies and pay
Yeah.
stubs and pay benefits and human resource contacts was easy, right? Because I had it all organized in a filing cabinet. And in our relationship with Greg and I handled the day-to-day finances. And I remember saying to him, probably right before we moved, some months before he passed, like if something happened to me, you'd be lost with the finances. So as we're moving, I want you to know where everything is, right? And he was like,
Mhm.
the good thing is that something happened to me, you've got it, right, Donna? Right? Hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a big one. Organize yourself if you can. If that's too overwhelming, right? Because I know a lot of widows that, there's the boxes of stuff and that's going to push them over the edge. Find someone who helps you. I call them, they're my dining room table visits, whether it be for a neighbor, whether it be for a client. Let's get a cup of coffee. Let's get a cup of tea. Sometimes it's a bottle of wine. Let's sit
Yep.
together and we're going to start going through. And here's my shredder and here's our keep box.
Yep.
And we've started a process too. When I say we, so my girlfriends and I who have been through widowhood, and you start to help one another in a community of even with, I'll go to clothes instead of like documents, right? I'll take my financial advisor hat off. Clothes, right? Spouse's clothes. We actually start with a big old pile, right? What's a keeper? You can't bear to leave that Jeff hat that he wore it all the time, right?
Yeah.
What's the keeper? What's the I always hated it and it's in tatters, it's going to go? What's the trash? And what's the donate? And in their living room, we find these three piles. And so then whatever's in the keeper pile goes back up into the closet. What's in the donate pile? Contractor bags. Widows, widowers get contractor bags. They are sturdy. Be
Yeah.
used as luggage. Lovely. And then the other ones throw out in said contractor bag. And then we
Yeah.
do it again in 3 months. And then we do
Yeah.
it again at 6 months, at 9, and a year. And usually by the year point, you have those pieces that you need to hold on to. They mean something. And then you have the stuff that can be repurposed. Like I remember we donated, Greg had beautiful suits. We lived in Italy. He had Italian suits. And I remember giving them with like I remember the car ride with my in-laws to one of the services for people that are looking to get back on their feet and interview again. Right. And that made me feel so good, but I couldn't get rid of them right away. Right. But I definitely
Yeah.
could at the 3 month mark because I felt like they're beautiful and they're being wasted. So
Yes.
let's go pull it forward. So organize yourself. That's a big part. Take things in chunks. Only handle what you think you can handle. Right. There's some things you have to action. You got to do those things. But if
Yeah.
you don't have to do it, then do it in your timeline, right?
Yeah.
Handle it in chunks. Um, Two other really important parts, like put the financial hat back on, is a trusted friend or a trusted family member. Pick that one person that you think will keep your confidence. I repeat, keep your confidence to be that person that has a willing enough and flexible enough schedule to go with you, to meet and interview new financial advisors, to sit with an accountant,
Yeah.
to drive you home from a counseling appointment if you don't think you'll be able to drive home. You're just going to be a
Right.
wreck. Have that person and have that talk with them. Like, will you go on this journey with me? It might be a few years. I remember having my sister-in-law with me and she would take notes for me at every meeting because it was like, wah, wah, wah.
I
I'd pull out the
know.
pieces I wanted to hear. Like,
I know.
you're going to be okay. I wanted to hear that. Right. But I didn't want to hear if it was going to be in an inherited IRA or Roth IRA. Wah, wah, wah. Like, I didn't want to hear it. But I look back over my sister-in-law's notes and yeah, we certainly talked about it. We did.
Oh my God,
Right.
I know. I remember walking out of a meeting with an attorney and my dad was my advocate person, so I just remember walking out and the tears had been building up. Like I didn't start crying until we actually got out into the parking lot. I made it out of the elevator and then we got into the parking lot and I just had this breakdown and I was crying and I was like, I don't understand a word that man just said.
Yeah, the complete overwhelm, right?
And here I'm like, I am an educated person. I can I can hear and I can understand normally, but not today. You
No
know,
digestion of information. None.
it's so
Not happening.
it's so baffling how your brain just disintegrates and
Yeah.
you have nothing. It's like I don't even know what that man just said, but it
Yeah.
was
And on a
it was
normal day,
scary. It's a
you
scary
probably did.
feeling, right?
Yeah.
Scary.
We got widow's brain, right?
Oh
Sometimes
gosh,
it just comes
terrible.
right on in, comes right on in.
Terrible.
Yeah. And then my third little nook is if you do have kids, right? And or if you're in retirement, make your appointment with Social Security as soon as possible. Because
Oh, yeah.
there could be a wait for that. Things changed in 2020. Many of them are on the phone, and I will let you know many of times you have to have follow-up conversations for a little clarification of information and to see if all the rules were explained to you accurately. So allow time for that. So even though that was one of the things I didn't want to do, I did not want to make a Social Security visit. Like, ugh, like not only am I a widow, now I have to go navigate Social Security at 40. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
To-do list, not on it. On the have to list, sure was.
I know. That's a
Yeah.
rough one. That's a rough day. That's
Yeah.
a get it done and then go and have a nice lunch and treat yourself in the afternoon.
Yeah. When we were still going live to Social Security, that was the one visit that I would clear anything on my calendar for my clients. I'm like, I'm going with you. I don't care if you want me or not. I
Yeah.
am driving you there. I will be waiting in the car afterwards. I will be
Oh,
waiting at the entrance for a hug and a lunch. And you are not going in there on your own. You're not,
so
because
hard.
like you
Yeah.
just explained too, coming out of the lawyer's office, like it was building up the whole time. You held it together till you got to the car. How much are we paying attention to during that build up period? Like, we just don't want to bawl in front of Susie behind the glass at Social Security.
I
We
know.
just don't.
I
Yeah.
know. Oh, that's awesome of you to do that.
It's a
You're like, I
have
know
to in
this
my
sucks.
world.
I've been here. I've done it. I know. I'll go
Yeah.
with you because it
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, you don't have an option. Like, remember I said, like, I mommy my clients, like, yeah, I do it for the friends, I do it for the neighbors. Like, and I've heard someone say, like, I'll introduce you to Donna, like in the neighborhood. Like, she lost her husband 2 years ago. But let me tell you what it's going to look like. Like, she is going to be like, what you need, I'm a fixer, right? Like,
Yeah.
laundry, I'll do laundry, like things like that. They're like, she's going to be all in. So you're going to have to give her some parameters.
um,